This is a beginner-friendly pattern and will make a great everyday backpack. It's Nicole here and welcome to BOCHIKNOT Macrame. We release a lot of beginner-friendly DIY tutorials and tips and tricks videos, so if you guys are interested in learning macrame with me, then give this video a big thumbs up and also click that subscribe button. When it comes to macrame, one of my favorite things to make is a macrame bag. Depending on the style, you can usually dress up a macrame bag for a nice evening out, or you can use it for everyday wear as well. Because I am a mom now, being hands-free is super important to me, and that is why I tend to opt for the backpack nowadays whenever I go out, so that I have my hands free to either carry my baby or carry some other things. And this is why I came up with this cute little drawstring backpack that can carry all of your essentials on your back. So this drawstring backpack is the exact same one that you'll see later in the tutorial. The only difference is the color, because I did soak this into an avocado dye to dye it pink. I don't recommend, if you're trying to dye your piece a different color, to dip it in after the macrame is made, because as you can see, it didn't settle nicely on the cord, and there are certain parts where they're darker or lighter on the bag. So I do recommend, if you are wanting to change up the color, to dye your cord beforehand, let it dry, and then use the cord to make the bag. To make the drawstring part of the bag, we did make a little knot at the bottom so that we can loosen it and tighten it fairly easily. This is a beginner-friendly pattern and will make a great everyday backpack. If you guys are a beginner in macrame and you're looking to fast track your skill set to get to an advanced level in macrame, we are currently doing Macrame Fashion Month on our BOCHIKNOT Macrame community on Patreon. And what that means is, for the month of June, we're going to go over everything macrame fashion related, more specifically on macrame clothing. But we did release a macrame bag tutorial as well this month. And we will also be going over an introduction to macrame clothing and how you guys can design and create your own macrame clothing or bag designs. And with that said, let's get right into it. Before we begin, you will need some materials and supplies. You'll need some 5mm cotton cord for this pattern. You can also use 4mm as well if you have that and don't have 5mm. To begin, we'll take our two cords at 290 centimeters long, take one, fold it in half, and place the loop end down on one end. Then take the other strand of 290 centimeter cord, fold it in half, and place the loop end on the opposite end, so that both the loops are facing each other. This part will form the top part, the drawstring part of the bag. We will now attach several cords onto the bottom two cords using Lark's head knots. Taking one strand of 300 centimeter cord, fold it in half and attach it onto the bottom two cords using a Lark's head knot. If at any time you would like a refresher on any of the knots used in today's tutorial, you can refer back to my 50 knots and sennets tutorial on BOCHIKNOT Macrame's YouTube channel. Continue attaching the 300 centimeter cords onto the bottom row using Lark's head knots until all 12 300 centimeter cords are attached. Once all 12 cords are attached onto the bottom, turn the pattern upside down, and we will now attach more cords onto the other side. Taking 12 strands of 200 centimeter cords, attach them one by one onto the bottom 2 cords here using Lark's head knots. Continue until all 12 cords are attached onto the bottom side. Once you have attached all 12 200 centimeter cords onto the bottom side, attach 2 more 200 centimeter cords onto the same side. There should be 14 Lark's head knots on the bottom row now. Turning the pattern upside down, we will attach 2 more cords onto the side. Taking the last 2 200 centimeter strands of cord, attach one onto the far left side of the bottom row using a Lark's head knot, and then take the other strand of 200 centimeter cord and attach it onto the right side. This side is the side with the 300 centimeter cords folded in half, so the 12 cords in the middle should be longer cords, and then the far left and far right side should have the shorter cords. And this side with the longer cords will form the front side of the backpack. Skipping the far left 2 cords, we will take the next 4 cords from the left and make 3 consecutive square knots to make a berry knot. Start off with the 3 consecutive square knots, and then take the middle 2 cords and weave it through the hole in the middle above the first square knot. Make sure you leave a little bit of space in between the Lark's head knots and the first square knot, since the berry knot will take up some space there once folded over. Taking the 2 middle filler cords, weave it through the top middle hole above the first square knot. Then pull the cords through the back, and using the same working cords, make one last square knot to secure the berry knot. Continue to the right with the next 4 cords for a continuation of this berry knot pattern on this top row for a total of 6 berry knots. In between 2 berry knots on the left, we will make an alternating square knot about 3 centimeters down. Continue to the right for 4 more alternating square knots. Once that is done, turn the pattern upside down And we will now work on the back side of the bag. Excluding the far left 2 cords, take the next 4 cords and make a square knot. Continue with a series of consecutive horizontal square knots to the right for a total of 6 square knots. Approximately 3 centimeters downwards, we will make alternating square knots in between the square knots on the top row, for a total of 5 alternating square knots. Going back to the left side, we will now make an alternating square knot with the far left 2 cords and then the 2 cords adjacent to it to the right for a square knot on the same row as the square knots we had just completed. Repeat the same on the far right side with the far right 4 cords for an alternating square knot. Turn the pattern upside down with the berry knots on the bottom again. We will now add an alternating square knot on the far left and on the far right, similar to the back side of the bag. Then about 1 centimeter downwards from the square knot row we had just made, make another alternating square knot row. So in between the first 2 square knots on the left, make a square knot.
Continue with this row of alternating square knots to the right for a total of 6 alternating square knots. Now turn the pattern upside down again and repeat the same pattern on the back side of the bag for another row of 6 alternating square knots, about 1 centimeter downwards from the last square knot row. Place the sides together, one on top of the other, with the back side on the front. Then working on the far left side, we will start to attach the front and the back side together with an alternating square knot along the same row of the alternating square knots that we had just made. Then do the same thing on the far right side, taking the 4 cords, 2 from the front and 2 from the back, to make a square knot. Flipping the bag over to the front side, we will now skip another 3 centimeters down from the alternating square knots we had just made and make another row of berry knots. This time we will make a row of 5 berry knots, starting in between the first 2 square knots on the left. Then continue to the right for 4 more berry knots for a total of 5 berry knots. On the far left side and on the far right side, add an alternating square knot along the berry knot row. Then turn the pattern upside down and about 3 centimeters down from the last alternating square knot row, make another alternating square knot row along the same row as the berry knots at the front. Flipping the bag back to the front, we will now add the 2 alternating square knot rows underneath the berry knot row all around the bag on the front side and the back side. Once the double square knot rows are completed all around the bag, skipping another 3 centimeters, make another berry knot row on the front side of the bag. This time we will make 6 berry knots similar to the first row of berry knots up at the top. This time we will leave about 3.5 centimeters of space from the double square knot rows from above. Starting from the far left and the far right side, add another row of alternating square knots on the back of the bag, along the same row as the berry knots at the front of the bag. Skipping another 3.5 centimeters, add another double square knot row pattern all around the bag. On the front, skip another 3.5 centimeters and add another 5 berry knots on the front, starting in between the first 2 square knots on the left. Again, add another row of alternating square knots, starting from the sides all the way around the bag through the back. Once the square knots are made along the back side of the bag, we will turn the bag inside out. Once the bag is inside out, align the last row of square knots on the front and on the back side, pairing them up together. Separate the far left top and bottom square knots and the far right top and bottom square knots. Place the cords in between on the top and on the bottom tucked away. Starting with the left 2 square knots along the side, we will take the middle 4 cords and place it in the center. Do the same thing on the right side by separating the middle 4 cords and placing it into the center. Take a thin strand of string or thread or elastic and tie a double overhand knot with the cords in the middle. Then, starting on the far left side, we will take 2 cords from the left, 2 cords from the right, and make a square knot with the filler cords in the middle. We will now do the same thing on the right side, but this time we will make a right-facing square knot since we had made a left-facing square knot on the left side, so that they are aligned. Then continue back and forth on the left side with the next 2 cords from the bottom and from the top to make consecutive square knots with the same filler cords. There should be a total of 6 square knots on the left side and on the right side. Then once you go back to the right side, ensure that the right-facing square knot is made. Once you have 2 square knots left, you should be getting close to meeting the other side. If you feel like you are running out of room to finish your last few square knots, you can pull and shift on the other square knots along the filler cords to make some room. Taking a strand of cord of 100 centimeters long, we will now make a row of double half hitch knots around the bottom of the bag. Starting from the far left, use the 100 centimeter cord as an anchor cord, and with the vertical cords, use those as working cords for a double half hitch knot. Keep repeating the double half hitch knots to the right. Once you get to the side, do the same thing and take the cords from the side and attach it onto the same anchor cord using double half hitch knots. Once you get to the other side, continue with the double half hitch knots until you reach and meet up with the very first double half hitch knot. Make one more double half hitch knot with the 2 anchor cords. Cut off the excess cord all around the bottom. Once the bottom of the bag is trimmed, turn the bag back inside out. Take the left 2 cords from the top and weave it through a loop in the bottom of the bag. Do the same thing on the right side. These will form the drawstring straps of the backpack. Measuring about 45 centimeters of the strap from the bottom to the top, we will then secure the bottom with a barrel knot. Once the barrel knot is added, the straps will become adjustable to your desired length. Towards the bottom of the bag, take the loose cord ends and wrap it around a finger 3 times. Then pull the loose cord ends through the hole in the middle once you take your finger out. Pull on the cords to tighten the knot. Repeat the same thing on the other side. On each of the loose cord ends, add an overhand knot towards the barrel knot. cut off the bag and now the straps are adjustable. The drawstring backpack is now complete.
And that's a wrap with our macrame drawstring backpack tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and let me know in the comment section below what your favorite part of the tutorial was or what your favorite part of the design was too. If you guys enjoy making macrame bags, I do have several other macrame bag tutorials on my YouTube channel, so make sure you guys check that out. If you guys are a beginner and you're keen to get started on your first macrame project but don't know how to begin, we do offer a macrame starter kit that goes over the 6 basic knots of macrame in a small but cute wall hanging. So if you guys are interested in getting more details on that, check out the link in the video description below. Please, please, please tag me on Instagram at BOCHIKNOT with your guys' finished pieces, as I'd love to see them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.